temporary account. But we're now doing the authentication piece. That right there was cross-checking against SSO, seeing if that magical wallet ID button was checked, and it sees everything lining up. I'm authenticated. I'm eligible for a pass. It then sends me to the screen where we're now within the Apple workflow, as if you were issuing or provisioning a credit card to your phone, what have you. This is Apple kind of has the wheel right now.
I've got something really exciting to show you today. The ability to provision a mobile wallet pass directly into Genetec Security Center. The feature that I'm talking about is the HID Origo Bridge. And if you've been following the news with HID, you know that we've had this product sort of in pre-release for an extended period of time. Well, now it is officially available. HID Origo Bridge is intended to accelerate your journey from physical cards directly to the mobile wallet experience. And in this video, I'm going to introduce you to Dave Harris, our sales engineer extraordinaire, who's going to show you the brand new Origo platform and our ability to provision passes directly into Genetec Security Center. So without further delay, let's jump in. So Dave, thank you for joining us. We've got the Origo portal screen open up here. What is this? Because this is also brand new, isn't it? This is the new version of the Origo portal.
Yep, that's exactly right, Phil. Yeah, so thanks for having me on to show this new solution we have here. We're super excited about Bridge because it does do so much, and I think the way to think about Bridge is that it is going to be sort of a synchronization service or a harmonization between the three most important parts for an employee in an organization to receive a credential in their wallet. And those three things are going to be the Origo portal, which is our cloud platform that delivers the credential. It will be the PAX head end, in this case, Genetec, and then it will also be your organization's SSO platform or solution, in which this case we're using Microsoft Entra. And so Bridge as a service will run within or on your access control platform. It will keep all these three things synchronized. And so what we have here is an assumption that myself as a new employee to Harris Industries has been onboarded so that I have corporate credentials built out into Entra. So for example, in this case, my new corporate email address is paxpresales@HID Global. And I have my password that's been assigned that I use for all the things, including this service. So
and by the way, I just to throw a point in here about single sign-on. Single sign-on is a requirement of the mobile wallet because we need to be able to validate the identity of the user. And frankly, the easiest way to validate the user's identity is that they live in the end user's identity store. So in Dave's fictitious scenario here, Dave is a member of this organization, and so this is the same username and password that Dave is going to use for all of the business systems, right? If they have Salesforce, if they have some, Microsoft Outlook, Microsoft Teams, and it asks you to log in with your username and password, this is going to be the same username and password. So now we're treating access control just like any other business system. Go ahead, Dave.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's just one more thing that you can use your credentials to log into. Yeah. So what I'm showing here now is just the landing page for what is the new HID Origo web GUI. It is going to be a whole new platform that will, I think, provide a lot of updates and features that have been missing from the existing platform. And so I want to just quickly show this new landing page. You can automatically see that there's a lot of change and improvements, and you can see the past templates that we have available that are all built out into this portal. And then I think what I really want to highlight here is the users section, which is going to show a list of all of the different users that have been, in fact, issued credentials. The important point here being that there is no existing record right now for Dave Harris. He does not exist in this system yet. Again, only exists in the organization side within your SSO platform. So what we'll do is quickly switch over to Security Center here, where the assumption here is being that The physical security manager has been informed that Dave Harris is a new employee, and we want to have him get access to the appropriate doors and areas within the facility.
And Dave, let me pause you right there because I think this is an important area for distinction to really kind of drill down on this because yes, putting the mobile pass on the person's phone is self-service, but this step is a necessary component, right? So the security manager or whoever orchestrates the Genetec Security Center system in this case still needs to put the person in the access control software with all their access rules. It's only at that point that they become eligible for a mobile pass.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and I think there's a few ways to look at this as well. So if an organization has been using, we'll call traditional app-based mobile access, the process here is roughly the same in that we have to create that record within the access control software so that there's a record that can be attached to the credential that's issued. Where this separates significantly from the traditional model, where in doing this, there would then be an email sent out with an invitation code that has to be accepted and entered and all the things. In this case, what we're doing is we're just really enabling this user to issue themselves a credential, assuming that they've met the prerequisites that include authentication with your access or your single sign-on credentials. So in this case, and actually it's probably worth noting that there may even be a degree of automation in an organization that has the onboarding step where the corporate credentials are issued, may automatically feed into Genetec through some sort of integration that would eliminate this step. Don't have that here, so we're just going to do the manual keying in process, which organizations may still use to have that record created manually as opposed to automated.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep. So I'll just go ahead and click on new and put in the information for this new user, Dave Harris. We will provide his corporate email address.
This is a necessary step, right? You have to have the email address that Dave is entering here has to be the same email address as how he appears in single sign-on.
Exactly. Yep. And then the fun button here, which is a configuration we did within Config Tool to enable essentially a filter to indicate whether or not we want to have this user be eligible for a wallet credential, is we created this little wallet ID tick box. And so I'll go ahead and tick that box there, which will be essentially a flag to have the bridge service pick up the creation of this record and added into the Arrigo portal so that the credential can then be issued.
And by the way, go back to that screen because I think this is important too. I've gotten a lot of questions, particularly around wallet being self-service. This is like a scary thing. We've never had a self-service credential. It was never like, oh, I'm going to pick up whatever access control card I want and just use that to get into doors. And ostensibly, this is what we are enabling, not just as HID, but as an industry, this sort of self-service process. But how do we ensure that the people who we actually want to have this credential receive it? It's that button. That's your fail-safe button. So if you want to make sure that this person never has access to a mobile wallet credential, don't check that box.
Exactly. Yeah, this box makes or breaks the whole thing. And so, for example, if this was a user that was going to be maybe assigned a physical card for whatever reason, and we did not want them to have this credential, we deselect this button here. And the net result of that will be I, as a user, try to authenticate myself through that point, which is the HID mobile access app on the phone. I put in my credentials that work everywhere else. I will be greeted with a "you're not authorized" or "not found" message, basically. So we have taken away the eligibility for a user to have that credential if we do not wish them to. In this case, we do. So lucky me, we'll turn it back on.
Awesome.
And so in doing so, what we will now click over and see is the creation of this record within the HID Arrigo platform. What we will wait on here is the bridge service to detect that, which, because we did a little bit of dialogue, has gone ahead and had that happen. So we can now see that this record has been created where it originally was not. And I am now in the Origo platform. So the only thing waiting here is for the credential to be issued upon my authentication. Go ahead.
So yeah, and I think this is the really powerful piece here. So you've entered them into the access control software right there. As a member of your organization, I was granted single sign-on access, right? Or Dave was in this case brought into single sign-on. Somebody entered Dave into the access control software. Maybe that was through a Workday integration or some sort of automated methodology. And then once that button is clicked for enabling the mobile wallet, that data is then sent to the Origo portal automatically. There is now nothing more that your credential administrators need to do other than communicate to staff that says, you now have a mobile credential available to you. Follow these steps. And of course, as HID, we have onboarding documents for this. If you'd like access to those onboarding documents, just leave me a comment below or shoot me an email. All my contact information will be listed down below.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, and I think we're showing the actual process going through by being in the portal here and showing that the record's been created. To your point, there's not even really any need for me as an admin to even be in this portal. We're just demonstrating it here to show that it is actually happening. But the seamlessness and the features and benefits of Bridge include things that I don't even need to go into the portal at this point. My work as an administrator has been done when I entered the information into Security Center, and that's really the end of it. There's no need for me to do anything further to enable this user to have access as determined by the organization. And just to highlight, some of that here is that, I've gone into this record now. We can see that I do exist, but there's been nothing done here. There's no passes that exist. This is all empty. So again, the record's been created, and we're now just waiting on me, the end user, to authenticate and issue myself my self-service credential.
And I would say from that perspective, the best practice, what we've seen organizationally, is to have a champion at the end user organization, whether that's somebody in marketing or somebody in security, that will communicate this capability not just to the individuals, but to the organization as a whole, because it will be entirely up to the individual to use their phone to get this credential. So communication now becomes paramount.
Exactly. It's a really big part of the whole process now. And, in the future, we can certainly talk about best practices there and whatnot. But yeah, it is a huge part because there's no longer that email sent out to someone saying you now can have a credential. The assumption is that they know about it somehow. So definitely important part.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, Dave, you live in Genetec, you live in single sign-on, you're now live in the Origo portal. How do you get your credential?
Right. And so here we can see in the wallet, there's no credentials here, just some credit cards and other previously issued credentials, but no HID credential.
Yep, no passes.
Yep. So going into the HID app.
And I want to be clear here. So this is like a fresh installation. There are no credentials in here at all. If you had a credential, you'd see the credential here, and then there'd be another button to add a pass. But here, assuming Dave is brand new to this organization, Dave has no passes, Dave's going to see this screen first.
Yep, exactly. This is the standard HID app that's been used in the past for app-based Bluetooth credentials, and everything is exactly the same. But to your point, there's nothing here, and the only thing that changes now with a wallet credential from the end user experience with the app will be using the sign in with SSO workflow, which I'll go ahead and hit here. And so in doing so, I then get redirected to the authentication service that is connected through configurations within the Origo portal, where I will enter in my credentials. And let me go ahead and type in all that. And so now I've entered in my email address, sees it as being a valid email address within the SSO, and then redirects me to the, in this case, Microsoft authentication screen for the SSO authentication.
Which
put
would
in
be
my
the same
password.
process, by the way, if you were logging into Outlook or Office or any other business system.
Exactly. It's the exact same experience that you have with any of the other, connected applications within your organization. So I'm going to go ahead and say no to staying signed in on this just because it's a temporary account. But we're now doing the authentication piece. That right there was cross-checking against SSO, seeing if that magical wallet ID button was checked, and it sees everything lining up. I'm authenticated. I'm eligible for a pass. It then sends me to the screen where we're now within the Apple workflow, as if you were issuing or provisioning a credit card to your phone, what have you. This is Apple kind of has the wheel right now. So I'll say I'm going to go ahead and add that pass to my wallet.
And actually, that's a really important distinction. So HID, or Genetec in this case, is not the agency entering the credential onto the person's phone. All what we are doing here is we're validating the identity in Genetec, we're validating the identity in single sign-on, and then we're creating the card number in Origo and giving it to Apple or Google. They are securely injecting it into the device.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And while we were just talking there, that was all of the communication and negotiation between Origo and Apple. Everything was validated, and now the credential is, passing through, or has actually passed through the Apple Pay servers and is now within the device. It is defaulted to being an express pass so that you can use the credential with an unlit screen. It is going to be exactly the same experience you have with using your phone for paying for something at the grocery store or what have you.
With a key distinction though, and the key distinction is to Dave's point. That's what Express Pass means. Like you don't have to, like if I go to the grocery store to pay for something, usually I have to unlock my phone with my face or a finger in order for the credential to transfer over to the payment terminal. With Express Pass, and by the way, the same is true with Transit Pass and Wallet. You don't have to do any of that. Imagine going to a subway turnstile and having to unlock your phone every single time. That would be sort of a pain in the butt. So with Transit Pass, all you have to do is pre-select a credit card, and it will always use that credit card at that transit terminal. The same is true with Express Pass with the wallet. The reader knows exactly which credential to pull. That's based on mob key values and some other values that live on the reader that get pre-installed there. But the reader knows exactly which credential to pull. So when you present your phone to that reader, it just reads it, and you go through your turnstile or through your door or whatever other device you're interacting with. And here we can see it's in your wallet.
That's it. Yeah, it's in there now. You still have backup pass information as well by hitting on the information button, but the credential is there now. It's
Now,
alive and will work with any HID reader that is set up to support Apple or wallet credentials and has the matching key. And yeah, you're off to the races there.
so can you go back to the HID Mobile Access app real quick? So right now you're in the wallet. There's the Mobile Access app. So you could see that the credential is in the Mobile Access app, but it's not going to do anything in there. Like for all intents and purposes, at this stage in the game, the user could delete the HID Mobile Access app if they wanted to, right? Or they could turn it, like if that app fell asleep or it quit, it really doesn't matter. The credential lives securely in the wallet and is always ready to go.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And I also see Dave's Apple Watch there. So did the credential also pass to your Apple Watch at the same time?
It did. Yeah. This one you'll have to just trust me on. It is in my watch, but I have a credential now automatically in both my phone and my watch. And just as a little bit of an opinion, I guess, on my side, the experience with the watch makes this even better because you can use the watch for things like turnstiles, or even just your normal door readers. And instead of having to remove your phone from your pocket or what have you, you can just use your watch right there on your wrist, and it's ready to go as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That and by the way, one card number lands in your wallet on your phone, one card number lands on the watch on your wrist. So from that perspective, you now have two card numbers in the access control software, not just one. And that's really important if, say, somebody wanted to like leave their phone at their desk and still want to be able to use their watch, but you want to be able to know which device they use, right? This would be the equivalent of handing somebody two cards. But the benefit here, and this is something that not a lot of people realize, is that those two credentials are one user license. In other words, if I wanted to hand you two cards for two different use cases, well, that's two cards, two physical pieces of plastic that you had to pay for and provision. In this case, two credentials were provisioned automatically for the same price.
That's exactly right. Yep.
And here we are in the Origo portal, and what am I looking at here?
And so now we're just seeing on the Origo side that those two credentials, as you commented on, have actually been issued. We can see some information about it on this side if we wanted to. Again, it's not really something that has to be done or needs to be done, but we're here, might as well show it. And we can see some of the details we need about it, right? So we can see that this is my card number. And what I'll show you here momentarily is that this is this is your access control number as if it was a card. And this number will now be present in Genetec against my record within Genetec so that, when I use whichever device this is, I will have access. You can also see the key set that's associated with it. That's the key set that has to be matched basically in the readers, and of course it's a corporate 1000 format, and we can just see basically that there is those two credentials alive now within the Origo portal, and then we'll look at it over in Security Center.
And while Dave jumps over to Security Center, he mentioned that the credential is a corporate 1000 format. It doesn't need to be. That's what we like to do, and as HID we always say that is the best practice. Corporate 1000 on a CIOS credential, which by the way this is, and an elite key or a mob key, which are kind of two sides of the same coin. So from a physical security perspective and cybersecurity perspective, this is actually the most secure credential that you could possibly provision, given it's a corporate 1000 CIOS with a mob key. You could obviously do this in the physical world, right? CIOS credential with an elite key with corporate 1000, but people are far more likely to lose their cards than they are to lose their phone, and we can have a whole conversation about that. That's for another video. But what are you showing here?
So now we're just kind of closing the loop here, right? So all of this provisioning that's happened has been done all the way down to the end user's level on my handset, and the information that was pushed to that, the card numbers, has now made its way back into Genetec, and so we can see once again the two credentials, one from my phone, one from my watch, facility code, ID number, 48-bit corporate 1000. We now have both of those credentials alive and well in Genetec, and that just basically means that I'm now opening up doors that I've been granted access to.
Now, question for you. We've talked about provisioning. What if I lose my phone?
That's a great question. So one of the things, especially with Apple devices, that I think is really amazing for the solution is that because this is a credential that lives within your wallet, you're now part of this credential is now part of your Apple ecosystem, the Find My ecosystem, for example. And so the important point here to make, I think, is that there's multiple ways to support both the issuance, but especially the revocation or suspension lifecycle for the credential, so that, for example, if I lose my phone, instead of having to wait until an email is read on Monday morning because I've lost it Friday night after work, or having to try and get a hold of somebody, or just have the credential being lost, for over the weekend, I myself can revoke the credential myself. What I'll show here now is the assumption that my phone's not only lost, but I dropped into the parking lot and I saw the dump truck come by and run it over as well, and so my phone is destroyed. It's gone. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to just do the revocation through my phone. Of course, if it was destroyed, I could then just do it through a login to Find My through a web browser on another device. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into my wallet and I'm going to remove the badge. So I want to make sure that this credential is now gone. It's not, on my phone anymore. If it was to somehow be recovered after being run over, I've removed it from my wallet. And what that has done is then also synchronize back up with Arrigo and Genetec. So now going back into the record that was for Dave in Arrigo, we can now see on this side as well that the credentials are no longer valid, and the reason for which is the user revoked it, right? So we now see that not only is it no longer valid, it was revoked by myself as a user. The same thing would apply if this was done from an administrative side. If you wanted to just delete it through Genetec, you could do the same thing. A credential will then be pulled off of my device, and you have the same level of control organizationally for the life cycle of the credential by having that ability to revoke it centrally, or in the event of something happening over the weekend, for example, I can do it myself as well.
And again, this is one of those things that we don't think about always until it comes time to think about it, which is a terminated employee. You really want to get that badge back. Good luck getting the badge back from a terminated employee. Whereas here, you just go to Genetec or you go to the Arrigo portal, you revoke the pass, it automatically pulls it off the phone, and they're good to go. So like, there's no more having to manually get back a pass and then destroy it, because really once I hand Dave a physical card, assuming even I get it back, it's just going to go in the garbage, right? Because I can't give that card to anybody else. Whereas here, the license is destroyed, but there's no way that Dave can replicate that credential experience. He can't show his phone to somebody and say, "Oh, I still work here," because the credential is just completely gone.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Dave, anything else you think users should know about this particular integration? I should probably mention, like, we're showing this in Genetec. We'll probably create another one for some other platforms that we are going to be releasing this feature for. But anything else folks should know about Bridge?
No, I think that's it for now. We're really excited to have it become generally available now. Looking forward to engaging with anyone interested. Happy to have any conversations talking about deployment, architecture, things of that nature. Happy to be a part of those conversations, and looking forward to speaking with anyone and everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Tired of having to maintain and provision a physical credential program at your facility? Are people constantly losing these cards, necessitating you to reprint and re-provision all day long? Has that turned into a full-time job for somebody in your organization? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, have you thought about HID Mobile Access? With HID Mobile Access, we can provision their same secure HID CIOS card directly onto their phone via email or even via single sign-on, which means you can get out of the card provisioning business. What's more, is we can even provision the credential directly into your mobile wallet as well. And there's never been a better time to trial a mobile access experience than right now. For a limited time, HID is offering any organization that participates in a trial one free Signal reader of their choice. So it could be the Signal 40, the 20, a white one, a tactile one with a keypad, no keypad, whatever you want. We will send you one of those pre-programmed to your office for you to trial these. The trial lasts for 90 days, and we give you 100 credentials to distribute to up to 100 individuals. All you need to do is click the link down below, fill out the form, and someone will be in contact with you to set up that trial.